Welcome to the fourth and final episode of our podcast series, brought to you by the URBACT programme under the banner of Remote IT. URBACT, a European Union initiative for sustainable urban development, serves as a vital platform for cities across Europe to learn from one another and share experiences. This programme aims to develop cities and implement innovative urban solutions by creating networks focused on specific urban challenges. Through these networks, URBACT promotes cooperation, knowledge exchange, and the development of integrated policies that benefit local communities. One of the key networks within the URBACT programme is Remote IT, which explores the future of work, particularly the impacts of hybrid and remote working on sustainable urban development. In this final episode, we explore how cities participating in the Remote IT network have been working on their destination branding. How can cities create strategic and impactful branding plans that unite stakeholders and reflect their unique identity on the global stage? What makes a destination brand truly integrated? And how does the URBACT methodology support cities in achieving it? In this episode, we delve into the experiences of cities in the Remote IT network, exploring how they've approached the challenge of shaping and communicating a strong, authentic brand. City representatives and URBACT experts share their insights on balancing long-term vision with tangible action, building consensus among stakeholders and adopting the URBACT approach to reflect local culture, values and aspirations. From breakthrough moments to lessons learned, this discussion offers a behind-the-scenes look at destination branding in action. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers to guide us through this experience. Firstly, from Romania, Maria Ghita. Did I pronounce that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you. Anna is a consultant for Agile Team Processes. Whilst working in tech, she had the opportunity to become a digital nomad in 2021, so in the pandemic.
Exactly. We call ourselves comads, which is COVID nomads.
Comads. I've never heard that before. Comads. COVID nomads. Exploring communities in Europe and Asia. Hildegard Brandl. Did I pronounce it? Well,
it is well
roughly.
enough.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy with that.
It's close enough. She's an entrepreneur, architect and politician who returned to Romania in 2009 after 36 years of residence in Germany. Where in Germany? All over.
In Dortmund.
In Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
In 2013, she opened an architecture office in Romania that gave birth to many projects close to her heart in the architectural industry. Having a courageous vision and a special style, she's a founding member of Robello.
Robello, yeah. Romanian Best Locations.
Robello. Romanian Best Locations, a board member of RBL Romanian Business Leaders, co-founder of Repatriate, a member of AHK, the Romanian-German Chamber of Commerce. And last but not least, JoAnna Haugen.
That's right.
Yes! Is an expat who works in marketing and communications in tourism. I should say expat, you're an American expat. Solutions-orientated writer, editor, and public speaker working at the intersection of sustainable tourism, sustainable travel, environmental conservation, and community-based efforts. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Enough of me speaking. Now I'm going to hear from you speaking. So I have a range of questions for you, but like I said, we can jump the questions around. We'll start at the end of the time. Well, I can say ladies first, but I don't know where to start. So what are the key elements that make a destination brand authentic and memorable?
In my experience, is a combination of two main elements. One is community, and the second one would be interest-based, which is bringing people that are alike together. Mm-hmm. So to give you an example, what do I mean by interest would be, let's say, some destinations like Ericeira, Portugal, or Bali, Canggu have in common surfing opportunities. So the surfing communities and people that are traveling that are interested in surfing would go there, and will know that is a main element. That is, so people, destinations can attract based on interest, so a community that is curated by a main focus. Mm-hmm. So elements like this could be startup vibe, for example, and this is why a Nomad list, which is a main website that nomads are choosing destinations by have a lot of filters, because we want to travel to meet people that are like us, and in that way we feel at home.
Yeah.
So there are many elements that create the element of community, which are crucial. And just to name a few, which we can expand later on: community manager, co-working space, proximity to keep everything together, and a good accommodation network in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
And with the combination of curated by an interest, that is what I saw this recipe as very functional.
So we have it's a very crowded market in global tourism today. How can cities differentiate themselves in such a crowded global tourism market?
By doing what you now just asked, by focusing on what Anna Maria said, communities, and from my point of view, on two other things, on identity and on experience. So identity is for me like a great destination is like a charismatic person. When she or he enters the room, even not talking, everybody stops. Good. This is a great destination. You enter this destination and you just stop. You realize it. Yeah, it has an identity, and this is where locations have to think about how they do their branding. As an parenthesis, I coordinate a program that is called Entrepreneurship Adopt a Village, where we do branding in the rural zone, touristical branding, how to attract tourists to the rural, but how to build up a real branding in the rural zone of Romania. So, and there is the same. Everybody in the rural zone thinks that identity means it is green, it is blue, there is water, fresh air. This is not an identity. Everybody has that.
Everybody has green and blue and fresh
out,
air. Well,
yeah.
not everybody, but lots of people, yes.
Carve out your charisma, your identity. It can be even things that don't look at first glance like an identity. Like, for example, where I grew up in Germany, in the rural region, it's an industrial zone.
Yeah.
In the 80s, that have to reinvent themselves. They were very unsexy.
Yes.
But they reinvented based on regeneration of industrial patrimonial. They reinvented themselves. They used all these old industrial sites and made out of these theater and experience and restaurants and swimming pools. And when you tell that, somebody's like, no, not possible. Yeah, possible. Yeah. So don't try to be like what somebody thinks the cliche is. What is your special identity? What is it that you are only having and the others maybe do not have, or not understanding how to evaluate and bring it up to a charismatic status quo. And experience is how to focus on not being just, we have great accommodation, we have great food. No, that is not experience. Experience is deeper. It's this community-driven thing where you experience small business and interesting things and unusual stuff. So you have to focus on all this small noise that gets together and is then a real orchestra. So
I don't know what you guys think, but for me, like a travel experience is like we all have senses. We have the 5 senses, so taste, smell, sight, la la. I think a travel experience has to touch at least 2 of those senses. So and of course you have to keep it authentic. But the reason it has to touch one, in my opinion, at least 1 or 2, at least 2 of these of your own senses, is because this is something that you'll remember for all your life. This will be something that remains memorable. Why do we remember something from our childhoods? Because everything touched our senses then. So we now go back to foods that we had 20 years ago, 50 years ago in my case, because we remember that in our brain that's touched us here. Yeah? You have to touch people's senses. So these experiences can be, you can redevelop something from an industrial zone, yeah, but it has to be authentic. Yeah, there's one Disneyland really for me. You don't have to go to Paris, so don't have to bring a Disneyland. Think of your own experience. Yeah. You agree?
Yeah, well, I struggle with the term authentic, just because there is, authenticity can be something that is genuine and real. And I love this example of finding the thing about a place that is at the heart of what it is, and not creating the thing that it is expected to be. But in the search for authenticity, there are a number of places that are shaping themselves to meet the needs and desires as defined by travelers and increasingly digital nomads.
Yeah.
And I think that can be very problematic when your definition of authenticity is then defined by the people you're trying to attract and not the people who live in a place. And so
I agree.
Yeah, I'm just a little, every time the word authentic is thrown on the table, I think it's really important to acknowledge whose version of authenticity that is.
Authentic must be the local homegrown version and not the people who are coming to visit.
Yeah.
Because they're not authentic. Now, not everybody, as you were saying earlier, not everybody will like that authenticity. Yeah?
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, because they have their filters, as we were saying, yeah?
Yeah.
They'll filter out what they like and what they don't, and that's fine.
Yep.
You can't which American president said, everybody can't love you at the same time, something like that. That's fine. There's plenty of people to go around, but you have to keep authentic to yourself. And if you keep authentic to yourself, you will attract people to you.
Yeah. And
that might not be their cup of tea, as we say in English.
Yeah, I don't think what we want to do is create something that is defined as digital nomad friendly, whatever that looks like, and just slap it on every single place.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just,
I agree.
What is the point of a place if it looks like every other place?
I agree, but now I'll throw this open to all of you. I agree, but there are certain preconditions that you should have or have to have in order to attract the digital nomads. For example, co-working spaces, these are a precondition of having. If you, depending on the legal system, do you need a visa? Are you in the European Union? Can people travel for free? So what do you think about this, having these, what preconditions do you think? You're a nomad, you were a nomad. You still a nomad?
Well, I define a nomad by I am at the location I want to be at this current time. So it's not based on like I'm a week there. I'm not a fast traveler. I like to be a few months in a place. And right now I'm like looking for more stability. So I'm more than a few months in a place, but then I want to be free to explore. So
So basically you're a nomad. So what are the preconditions that you look for in your filter before you decide on visiting somewhere?
It is a combination of like the standards that allow me to work. So of course, good internet, accommodations, co-working. But what I personally look in is the community aspect, because in a place, in a city, people already have their family and friends, so they're not so interested in meeting new people.
Yes.
So, but who are the people that would be interested in meeting new people and socializing and skill sharing? The people that are also there traveling and looking for the same things. That's why the place of the community is very important, like the community space where events are happening and exchanges are that are valuable are happening. So I think this is what I'm looking for. Is there a community there? I specifically also look, and I've done a research where I started my digital nomad journey in Madeira in 2021. I have done interviews and a research there with the people because I was so fascinated with this project. This project changed my life and really opened my eyes towards what is possible for remote workers. And when I discovered this life, the life where you work, your daily job, let's say, at that time I was a remote worker, and in 5 minutes, you can go to the beach and have wonderful experiences or go to events. Every day becomes like a vacation day in a way. It's not fully a vacation day because you're also working, but in a way it could be even more fulfilling because you're working, you have the satisfaction of work, and then you can enjoy the day. You can do a hike after your work. Like, isn't that the dream? Yeah. So back to the question about just the elements people are looking for. Is affordability, could be accommodation close to the co-working space. Is this easy to manage? Are there communication channels that are easy for people to get in contact with? Are there events? And apart from that, like nature, I found to be like a really important characteristic people are looking for. The beautiful nature, sightseeing, because then you can go do outdoor activities.
Well, you're talking about communication there. So quickly, what channels do you think are most effective for communicating a destination brand, both locally and internationally?
Well, let's say to announce this, I'm going to go specifically to my experience where I remember exactly when I saw the post, first digital nomad village.
Yep.
A beautiful professional post that caught my eye with the landing page. So it was posted in one of the Facebook groups for nomads because I was interested to get into the space. I was already in the Facebook groups. So that's how I find out. And then I saw the landing page, and that was the pathway into joining a Slack channel where you can see already the community talking, all the events posts. There was an events list for every week.
Yeah.
So like a full schedule with yoga and dog walking, everything like that. You could choose where you wanted to join.
Cool.
So that those are one of the elements I found good for communication.
And Hildy, how do you think destination branding can move a step beyond marketing to actually influence policy and planning decisions?
I think it has to move together with political and strategical planning decisions. So it is really important that people that are part of the touristic industry, people that are part of the audience that is receiving this, are part of the solution.
Are involved in, yes.
Yeah. So that means you need to have people that really work together in working groups, together with the public authorities. That means generally volunteering time, but that changes the game. So if you have the ones that really go to that product involved and the ones that understand that product, then you can have a public policy that is for real, because if not, it will be kind of out of the airplane, yeah? So it will touch ground and you will be like, where am I? So I think it's about people. So the software, besides the hardware, like the nature, the conditions, that is like the basic, no? Like we need heat and cooling and food. So like she said, Wi-Fi and nature and conditions for co-working spaces, as you mentioned. Then we need also the software, and the software has to go as far as also being part of the planning. So proposals that are in this zone have to find their way into public policies, because they are then a branding.
Yes.
Because Romania, for example, Romania is a typical country of under-promise, over-deliver. We have an horrible image. This is like this. It is not our fault.
How can we change this?
We say, but it's our fault, because an image is created by what the people.
Yes, it is your fault. Yes. Sorry.
Yes, it is. So we don't want to. If every time we have this thing and it's a bad image, everybody's like, this is their fault. They see us in a way we are not.
No,
They see us in a way we somehow got into their mind, in their senses. So no, the people that come to Romania, they love it. They come again. They come with friends. So we have under promise, over deliver. It's better like this than inverse. But we have to work on our image. So we have to work on our image, and we have to work on the political level, so on the governmental level. We did not do that in a sexy way. And we have to work on it in a private level. On the private level, there's a lot of initiatives going on. Like you mentioned, the one that I have, Romanian Best Locations, together with other parties that are into the project like Dragoș, Anastasiu and Eurolines, is one, but there are many. But you need, like, look, Costa Rica has a great way of doing branding throughout all the layers of the society. So it's government, it's entrepreneurs, it's the people. Everybody there, wherever you walk and you meet somebody, is into Costa Rica's mindset, like the nature, preserving the nature, living it local, vida, pura vida.
Yeah.
Because they did it smart and they did it well together. For example, there I have to say the Americans had a great impact on matching with the government and developing a touristical strategy that did not exist at all before. Because Costa Rica before was an agricultural country with great products, agricultural products, very vulnerable. But then they said, let's team up. You give up something, we give up something, and we team up. Now it's, I think, the first or second generation of Costa Ricans that have the boutique hotels there. Before it was Americans. So it is about how you work together, top down and bottom up.
Yes.
And if you do that well, then you have something like a blue zone, like Costa Rica, and a zone that really, if you feel it, or Toscana, Provence. They are older examples, but they knew how to do it.
Yes, branding is like branding and image identity is very much like driving an oil tanker. It goes extremely slowly from left to right. It's not like driving a jet ski. You're not doing that, yeah? So people like Toscana, they've been doing this for centuries. Or London, this is something that's been, or Paris, or Venice, this is something that's been happening for centuries and centuries and centuries. And it's moving like an oil tanker. It's not going, oh, now we're going to have adventure tourism. Now we're going to have this. No, forget that. This is what we do, and we want to do this all the whole time. So yeah, this is the
Costa Rica
image of Romania you can't change overnight. But Costa Rica is a good story. Yeah,
it's a great story. Yeah,
and
there are many others.
And you can't just bring it in from somewhere else and transpose it onto a destination. You have to you can take their best practices. But then use your own
take
methodology.
the attitude, take the way they arrange how they work together.
What are the risks of over-branding a place or misrepresenting a place, and how can they be avoided?
Well, I think one of the potential challenges that I could see happening with the increase of digital nomadism and remote work is that it is very appealing. I mean, this is a group of people who, to at least some extent, have the privilege to work and be in a place that's not their home. And that, I mean, right there is that is a marker of privilege. Yes. And so inviting that into your community is a very desirable thing. But as you said, this can be, it's not something where overnight we just say, oh, we're now going to have digital nomad community or remote workers or whatever. And it needs to be a gradual thing. What I worry about, or what concerns me working in like sustainable tourism kinds of things, is the great desire to want the benefits of these without realizing the potential consequences.
Good point.
And, there might be places where the local people aren't interested, or they want people who are going to be staying for a long time to be in their community in a certain way that maybe isn't the way that digital nomads want to live or want to be present. For example, I love Slovenia, but I have spent some time hiking through rural Slovenia, and I could see the appeal of staying and working for a long time, but it's not a place where you just throw together a co-working space. That's not the culture. That's not the vibe. That's not the community. And so I do think it's really important that places that want to invite digital nomads in or remote workers in are very aware of what the local residents want and need. I believe that a good place to be a remote worker or a digital nomad first must be a great place to live.
Yes.
And it needs to be catering to the local community first. It needs to be affordable to them. It needs to be usable to them. And it needs to have infrastructure that is accessible to the people who are living here all the time. Have lived here for 10 years, will live here for the next 10 years. Because those are the people who are the heart and the soul and the authenticity of a place. So, if we're catering to exactly what, long-term tourists essentially want and need without considering what the local residents want and need first, then we risk alienating those very people that we're asking to support this new part of our community.
Exactly. If you're going to build hard infrastructure, in my opinion, if you're going to build hard infrastructure, roads or whatever, then that hard infrastructure should be aimed at the local community. End of story.
Yes.
Because then if the local community is starting to use it, if they find benefits to that, then also visitors will find benefits to it. Yeah.
And not only then do your visitors find benefit, but your local people become word of mouth ambassadors. They are stewards of a destination, and there is no better marketing than the very people who live in a place and say, this is a great place to live. We would love to invite you in for you to be a part of this community because we're proud of it, because we believe you can live here and lead a nice life.
Are you a word of mouth ambassador for Madeira?
Definitely.
There you go. Madeira was a winning story. The destination branding of Madeira worked on you, and now you have word to mouth with everybody else you meet. Yes.
Exactly, and they do have good branding.
Okay, that was a positive. I agree, they do have a good brand. That was a positive example, but is there a negative example where the destination branding has kind of sold you to come, and when you've got there, it didn't really say what it said on the tin? You said, what the hell is this?
I do have an example. Of course, this is my personal experience. Because I've heard a lot about the Bali destination for nomads. It's even like in the community of nomads and remote workers. I've heard like you're not the real nomad until you arrive to Bali. So
is that
like,
right? Bali is like
we have to go to Bali. Okay, so there are a lot of photos online about the beautiful places, resorts, and those are there and they are beautiful.
Yeah.
But I felt arriving there, the reality of the place was a bit different. There was a lot of contrast between the conditions locals were living in, and poverty, with like tourist destinations, and I just didn't. I felt like there were two worlds that were not blending in with each other, and I felt like the photos were not the real Bali. The real Bali was people living in very poor conditions and living in community and their customs. So I felt like the branding is not really showing the reality of the place or the authenticity of the place.
We would call that false marketing, I think.
And also like the idea of community, because there was not a centralized community, everyone was so split. So as comparison to Madeira, I felt like people were very spread, and there was not the real sense of communities outside of small communities like co-working spaces. But that was my experience.
Yeah, so you had basically two completely different experiences. You had a black and white experience.
Exactly.
Between Madeira and and Bali. Yeah. How would you measure the success, or indeed impact of a good destination branding strategy?
As you said, by first measuring the satisfaction of your first client, that is your locals. So if your locals are happy,
first client, that's good.
Yeah, that first client means that everybody else will be happy. Mm-hmm. It is true, you can have your local not happy and still have a successful touristic destination. Somehow, it is like that. Maldives is also an example. So the touristical islands compared to the local islands, there's a huge gap in between. I don't want to say they are not happy, but their conditions differ enormously. So if you satisfy this first client, then the other will follow. Mm-hmm. Success is also that you persevere, that you have a long-term strategy. Like you said, it's not an oil tanker. It's like an oil tank. You cannot just move it around. No. So you have to really, like in Germany, I mean, I was born in Romania. I lived 27 years in Germany. I lived in the Caribbean. I lived in Venezuela 5 years. And now I'm back to Romania. But it's a thing in Germany, that's a good thing, that you measure 70%. I think you prepare 70% of it. And then 30% is execution. In Romania, we sometimes tend to do it inverse.
Say again, sorry, so repeat that.
70% is preparing what you want to do.
Okay.
How you want to do it, why you want to do it. Does it make sense? Is it long-term sense? Is it mid-term sense? What are the risks? Nobody asks, what are the risks? It's like, let's do it. We are very creative, and flexible in Romania.
Let's do it, yes.
We have a great touristical product, that is true, because I have lived in many continents, as I said. I have never seen a landscape like this in this variety. Mm-hmm. Every hour you have a different landscape. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. And you have things that nobody has. So you have all these underground caves. Yeah. It's a huge system of caves, the biggest of whole Europe, we hold 60% of all the mineral waters, and you can imagine what kind of hills and mountains and we have. We have the Danube Delta. We have the Black Sea. So we have really everything. But this thing is, if we could do this, plan better, plan long-term vision, the image of Romania, and then promote it, the touristical strategy, and then...
just want to rewind. So 70% was this...
is preparation,
and
then you
planning.
Just execution, so the elaboration.
And the last 30% was the execution.
Yeah, and I think this is really important. And countries that do it well, if I get back to Costa Rica, is because it's a great example. They really did this.
And they did this, 70-30.
Yes, and then they persevered. And they work together, as I said, the entrepreneurs with the public administration, the government, and the communities have working groups constantly together. They work together. It's not just somebody is doing something or somebody is doing something. It's just a constant working on that strategy that gets adapted by the years, but it has a core, and this core was aimed somewhere, and you get there. Like, you have to know where you want to get.
Are you saying in Romania this 70-30 is?
Yeah, we are.
30-70?
It's a very creative country. It's a very flexible country. That's a great advantage. So in Romania, any kind of trend is absorbed immediately. Romanians have no problem of getting into new trends, and they take them over and they live them. That is something great.
They embrace the
if you want to place a product, Romania is the place to go. You can test the product, because Romanians are not like, for example, in Germany. Until something is tested, we have to analyze. We don't like, though the audience is different. No, Romanians, they are like, bring it on. Let's see, let's test it. Creative, flexible.
Yes, that was my word.
Very outgoing, extremely joyful. Yeah. Also when we complain, joyful, and that's good for tourism. Yeah. So you have a good vibe.
But this flexibility can be used as an advantage. It doesn't have to be a disadvantage. You can use it as an advantage.
If you partner flexibility and this kind of creativity that is really enormous as a level. So Romanians are creative. For example, you can tell a group of Romanians, okay, we have 60 minutes. We have to plan an event with 10,000 people. Okay, let's do it. No other country would do that. Everybody would be like, it's impossible. But we are, no, you can do that. I mean, really, you literally can do that. So this means you have people that really can get it going. If you match that with discipline and organization, so if you get this in, oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, the world is your oyster if you get that together.
And it's the wildest country of the whole of Europe. So we have all the flora and fauna that others do not have anymore. So you can work on something really special with that kind of landscape, with that kind of people, with that kind of balanced food, because we are not too spicy, but not too pale, you know? We have a tasty food. We cook good.
You're smiling here. Is this your experience?
Her excitement is what I find here. I mean, I've lived here for about a year now, and I mean, there's a vitality here that is really special, and it's not what I have necessarily found in other places. I actually don't consider myself a digital nomad or a remote worker. I live somewhere for several years at a time. I'm a resident of Romania. I have a apartment, a rent, cats, all of these kinds of things. But I have lived in a variety of other countries.
I'm sure nomads can have cats before we have them.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I've lived in other countries, and this kind of vitality and excitement is definitely something that is true of Romania. Yeah. So
this could be a hands-on example. So you've been here for a year.
Yeah.
We're talking about destination branding. 18 months ago, what was your vision of Romania?
Well, to be quite honest with you, so 5 years ago, I lived in Kyiv, Ukraine, and I loved living in Kyiv. It was a very creative, it probably still is a very creative, innovative place. There were a lot of startups. There was a lot going on, and I loved the vibe of Ukraine. And people had told me, if you love that vibe, you might like what you find in Bucharest. And my partner had an opportunity to take a job here. We were looking to leave where we were currently living. And so my hope was that it would be similar to other place I had lived.
And okay, so that image that you had beforehand, before you came to live here, and now after a year of living here, so you have I'm trying to get you to compare these two, yeah. So this, what was it, under developed, over promised, or something? I can't remember
under promise, over deliver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is that true?
In some areas.
Is it what you expected?
In some areas. I think that's true of any place. I mean, you can never fully prepare a person for what they're going to find, because everybody's coming from somewhere different. So their expectations and perceptions are different based on where they've already been, where they're, what their background, culture, history, religion, upbringing, education, all those things shape our perception of us as humans, as travelers, as world citizens, as digital nomads. So for me, there were some things here that, were overpromised, under-delivered, and some under-promised and over-delivered, right? And for me, that balance has come out so that I mean, I really love living here, but there are people who we know who have also come here from other places and said, yeah, this is really underwhelming. It's not what we expected. But I think you're going to find that every place. And I think that's one of the challenges when we're talking about digital nomads, where, that even just lumping people together like digital nomads, they are a defined group of people, but they're not really.
No, not at all.
I mean, they have some similarities. They need internet connection. A lot of them are looking for community. They come from a place of privilege to some extent, but every single one of them is coming with their own expectations, perception, history.
Yep.
And so we can talk about destination branding, but you're never going to be able to create a brand that speaks to every person. And that's just the reality of it. So
yes, but I don't think you said you like Slovenia. Slovenia brands itself on like being a small country, but green. Everything is green, green mountains the whole time. Yeah.
Yep.
So that they're not really I think that's honest marketing. I think they're branding themselves as they are. Yeah. I think that people who didn't particularly like nature or walking or hiking probably wouldn't go.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think that's a good example of branding. But yes. I've met nomads from 18 years old to 80 years old. I've met nomads from poor backgrounds, from who are working, who are not working. It's like an impossible thing to. This is why we come back to the filters. Probably it's an impossible thing to quantify what a nomad is. If you could, it would be easy, and everybody would be doing it. So this branding, I think it keeps coming back to what we were saying at the beginning. Like to if you're authentic to yourselves, then when the nomad comes, they can see what you're offering, and at least you're honest.
Yeah, I mean, and Slovenia is a great example. It is very clear Slovenia is all about its outdoor activities and adventure and all that. So if you are a digital nomad who's looking for big city life, you're not even going.
You're in the wrong place.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even necessarily going to be attracted to Slovenia because they're not promising something that they aren't. And so, I think that's where you need to be authentic and true to what you are as a destination, and you will attract those kinds of people to your space.
Could Romania do better destination branding?
I don't know a lot about Romania's destination branding, in that ultimately, we were looking to come back to Eastern Europe, and I was not looking for, it wasn't about me necessarily. I had to go where my partner was able to get a job. But what I can tell you now that I live here is that I've been surprised by some of the things that I have experienced. For example, I find, for example, the tourism website not always to be very user friendly. I am really interested in the events that happen in the city. But for example, if you go to a tourism website and you go to the events page, it's all printed on images, the events. So you can't actually translate the page. I don't speak Romanian right now. So it's not actually a user-friendly space for me to find out what to do here.
If it's not a user-friendly space for you, then I guarantee it's not a user-friendly space for digital nomads either.
I would assume not. That particular aspect. So some of the things that I've tried to do and that I'm interested in doing haven't always been user-friendly for me. I'm willing to go out of my way to figure out how to make it happen because I'm here for a long time.
But you shouldn't have to. It should be
but if you want to be user-friendly, you need to you need to be thinking about who is the average person that's coming here and what kind of information are they looking for. Are we speaking to the needs that they might have, and in this kind of case, a translatable website. Yeah,
it's a start.
Like that. It's a start, right?
It's small steps, baby steps. I have one final question. Let's go around the table again. So, what advice would you give to a city or a destination or a country even just beginning its destination branding journey? Because it's always good to make a good start.
Yeah. I would include Romania at the beginning of the journey, but not limited to Romania. Because I have a researcher background, start with the data. Go into the field, ask the people, like, this is such valuable information. The posters that are photo and not translatable. We have to, before we align the stakeholders in the same room via a workshop that ideally would happen quarterly minimum to realign also in the journey later, would be come with the data at the event and then show the interviews, the videos with the people, the real feedback. And from that space of data, the solution of the pilot would be designed with the support of the government. Like the clear example of what brought me to Madeira, because I was comparing Canary Islands and Madeira. The clarity element was essential because it was that first digital nomad village with a co-working space that was free from the government. So that created clarity. Where should I get my accommodation? So that led me there. And it was such an amazing experience when I arrived there. And after, because the pilot was 5 months predetermined, then the government extended the free co-working space for another 3 or 5 years. So the crucial elements would be data, workshop with stakeholders, and a pilot to be designed with results. And with from Madeira, for example, where if a 35K investment for community manager and the space provided, then it was 1.5 million euro return, and the businesses of Madeira surviving during COVID.
It's interesting that I didn't know you had a choice. It's interesting that you had a choice between Madeira and the Canary Islands, yeah?
Yeah.
And basically the branding or the marketing, for want of a better word, pushed you to go to Madeira.
Exactly.
And shows the path. What advice would you give, Hildy, to a city just beginning its destination branding journey?
Prepare 70%.
You like
then
this prepare.
execute 30%. So yeah, do focus groups. Like really do focus groups.
Yeah.
Because if the people are just asked by questionnaires, it's not the same than when you sit down and do really focus groups with them, and for several hours, or if you can, like 2 days or so. Like we also in Entrepreneurs Adopt the Village, where we branded Ținutul Stejarilor, the land of oaks. We did focus groups, and not because we invented it, because others did it, and they know what you get out of it. It is different, and it takes a little time, because at the beginning people just say like the platitudes, like the superficial, and then they start to get into it, and then they start to think about their space, their locations, the country, and then it starts to flow, like the things that are relevant, and bring all stakeholders in. If you do so as a city, do rely on professionals. Do not think because you are a councillor, a mayor, a stakeholder in a certain way that you know about that field. So when you sort out the strategy, be aware of not trespassing into the other zone. Because if you have leadership, you generally have the impression, and entrepreneurs also especially do, we know. No, you do not know, so leave it to the ones at the end. You can do everything before, but then when you carve out the direction, just don't get into the way, because that is really important, because you ruin the product. Because you think you know, but at the end somebody studied, worked, experienced, applied, and that is why he knows better.
Yeah.
Definitely better than you. Even if you can by chance be right, but there is 90% chance you're wrong.
Even if you can by chance be right, yes. Even a blind squirrel finds a hazelnut once.
Exactly.
And what advice would you give to a city just beginning its destination branding journey?
I would say clean your own house first. Check in with your own citizens, your own residents. They are your best word of mouth ambassadors, the stewards of your place, and ask what they need. What do they want to need to lead a better life? If they can't afford housing right now,
you have a problem.
Then you're going to have even a bigger problem if you start inviting long-term people to come work in your community. If they can't get around because the public transportation is not accessible, you're going to end up with exponential problems once you're inviting people who are trying to use the same kinds of systems. So again, a great place to visit or stay for a long period of time as a remote worker needs to be a fantastic place for people to live first. So I would say start internally, make sure that your basic needs of your residents are met first.
Yeah, you immediately pick up the vibe when you come to any city, any destination. You immediately pick up a vibe. I don't know how you pick it up, but you pick up, are the local population really that happy with what they're, is this, and then that kind of comes to you, and you kind of think, am I bothering them? You don't feel part of the community.
Am I welcome here?
Yeah.
Am I
Do they
welcome
actually
here?
want me here, or
exactly.
should I just send them some money in an envelope and everyone would have been happy?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's been very insightful. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. Hope it wasn't too stressful.
No, it wasn't.
Not at all.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for watching the fourth and final podcast of our series. My name is Mark Thomas. Stay safe and, more importantly, stay curious.